Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I am joined by Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs women's hockey player Taylor Anderson. Welcome back to the podcast, Taylor, and how's everything going?
Yeah, thanks for having me again. Things are going well. Starting up workouts again here. So, yep, same old stuff in Duluth.
That's good to hear. And obviously, this past season was very difficult due to some of the challenges your team faced. How did you deal with all the challenges you faced this year?
Yeah, COVID was definitely a pretty big challenge. We stuck together as a team and decided that we're going to be in a bubble and just be as safe as possible. No family, no friends. And I think it really helped us stay healthy all season long. We didn't have a problem with COVID, luckily. So that was nice.
Yeah, and you obviously didn't play in front of any fans as well. Was that an adjustment for yourself? Because I know in the beginning of the year there was no one at Amsoil, which is a bit weird to think about from my perspective.
Yeah, it was pretty strange. It was hard not having my parents there watching. That was like the first time they've never been able to come to a game. But we got used to it pretty quickly, and then fans were able to come halfway through the season, so that was nice to have them coming back again.
And like you were mentioning, one of the challenges your team had to face because of the pandemic was the schedule changes that happened throughout the regular season. How did you mentally stay prepared for the potential schedule changes that were bound to happen, and what was the key for maintaining flexibility for this year?
Yeah, I think our coach talked a lot about just controlling what we can control and prepare like you're going to play every weekend. And if you don't, we're just going to have to adjust to that. And I think we did a great job with, even if we didn't play on a weekend, we still scrimmaged during practice and pretended like we had a game and prepared like we had a game. So I think that kept us dialed in for the whole season, even though we had quite a few cancellations.
Yeah, and did it help having like a set schedule? Because here in the East Coast, it was basically like every Tuesday you find out which teams are going to play through on the weekend. Was it nice having a set schedule in the WCHA?
Yeah, it was very nice. It's always nice to know when you're going to be traveling, where you're going. It helps with school and all that stuff. But yeah, it's nice to know who you're playing so you can kind of mentally prepare for that.
Now, something else that was introduced to college hockey this year was 3-on-3 overtime. For an offensive player like yourself, what was that like to have more space on the ice and have more chances for offensive opportunities?
It's a lot of fun. I know a lot of us like 3-on-3. It's fun to get out there and have so much space. And it's kind of a challenge sometimes with the defensive part of it. But I think we practice it a lot during practice. So we're prepared for it and we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, no, I was hearing how you have to be a little more defensively minded in those 3-on-3 overtime situations because if you make one little defensive mistake, it can cause an odd man rush. How do you try to stay mentally defensive prepared in those 3-on-3 overtime situations that you're a part of?
I think just focusing on playing defense first is so important. Making sure that you have your player, it's pretty man on man in that situation. And then when you have the opportunity, take it on offense. But I think the biggest thing for us was making sure having good changes because if you have a bad change, that can throw off the whole 3-on-3. So yeah, it's one thing we focused on mostly.
Yeah, and what's the key for maintaining offensive pressure and staying in your own zone in those 3-on-3 overtime situations? Because I was hearing how possession of the puck is really key on those 3-on-3 overtime situations. Because if you have possession of the puck, you can basically control your line changes and the offensive pressure that you sustain in your own zone. So, what was the key for maintaining possession of the puck, especially when you were in the offensive zone, while trying to create line changes for your team and preventing the other team from creating line changes?
Yeah, I think puck possession definitely is the biggest key to it. Um, Trying to spread the ice, but also support each other, making sure you're supporting the person at the point and always being the first one on the puck. I think those were two things that helped us a ton.
Now, being an upperclassman this year, how would you evaluate your leadership skills for this year?
Yeah, I think they were good. I think we have a ton of leadership on our team. We have a really, really close group. And so, yeah, not much you really have to do when everyone's always dialed in and wants to be there. So it makes it pretty easy.
Are you more of a vocal or lead by example type of player?
I would say I'm pretty vocal. I think my teammates would agree. Yeah.
Nice. What type of vocal leadership do you try to bring, like just in the locker room, like say like a few words, or are you more just on the ice trying to encourage your teammates throughout the game?
A little bit of both. I think being positive and encouraging your teammates during bad plays or good plays is really important. And just talking through the game in between periods is huge, I think. And yeah, I'm not afraid to speak up and get the girls going a little bit. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, and talk about the freshman class this year, and what did you take away from their performance? And How'd you try to help their transition into college hockey? Because I know we talked a little about that in the podcast when we last had you on before the season, just like how important it was to help their transition into college hockey this year, since this was a year that you've never experienced before.
Yeah, I think it was definitely hard. It's hard when you're over in the dorms and you can't really leave your rooms and you can't go into class. But I think having the team there, we got really close with them, and I think they brought a lot to our team, even leadership wise. They're all pretty vocal too, and great players as well. I think they put up a lot of minutes for our team and a lot of points. So, yeah, they were a huge part of our team, I think, and I think they transitioned well into being a part of our group.
Yeah, what's it like to play with Claire Van Weeren and just talk about her performance and how good of a college hockey player is she already?
Yeah, she's already a top player for us. I mean, she's got good size, good strength. Yeah, I think she was great this season, and she really stepped up. So I'm really happy about that.
Now you play in the WCHA conference. What's it like just playing conference games this year, and what's the competition like that you face every night in the WCHA? Because from what players have been saying to me, it's the best conference in women's college hockey.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense league, and we're really lucky. I think playing WCHA teams is what makes us better, and so playing them every weekend was a lot of fun because it's always a good game. You never are going into a game knowing you're going to win it. Any team could win that day because so it's yeah, definitely fun to have good competition every single weekend.
Now you lost in the WCHA tournament before heading into the national tournament. What was your team's mindset heading into the national tournament this year after you guys found out you were going in?
I think being so close to not making it and then being at the rink and finding out that we do get to go, I think we all just realized how lucky and how great of an opportunity we had. So we were fired up to get there and excited for the opportunity in Erie.
Now I have to talk about the reaction that your team had when you guys found out you made the tournament. It went a little bit viral. Where were you in that video? Because I tried to find some of the guests that I've had on from your team, and I couldn't see. It was kind of hard to find out which was who because of the whole mask. But just talk about your team's reaction because that was awesome to see.
Yeah, that was super fun. We went down to the rink not knowing whether we're going to get a bid or not. So we were all crossing our fingers. I was in the way back corner by the goalie stall. And when they called our name, no one expected our name to be called, especially so soon. So we were all super excited.
Now, who was the guy that stepped on the logo, and what was your reaction to that? Because that's something that I saw as well.
Yeah, that's our trainer, Jason. He got a pretty big fine for that one, like $50 or something. So we got him back for that. But I think he was just so excited he didn't realize.
Yeah, because apparently I heard that like you guys didn't even realize he stepped on the logo until after the video was released. Did you guys just like rag him a little bit after you saw that?
Yeah, we saw the video and someone noticed it and we zoomed in and screenshot it and sent it to him and yelled at him a little bit for that one.
Now you started off the tournament playing Colgate. You won that game in overtime, 1-0. What'd you take away from that game overall, especially since your team has never really played Colgate before, especially in your career?
Yeah, they were a great team. They were tough on us and it was a fast-paced game. And so I think that really got us ready for Northeastern. And yeah, I'm really happy we came out with the win there.
hmm And just the defensive performance in that game was something that impressed me a lot. What was your defensive plan for that game, and how'd you try to stick to it throughout the three periods?
I just try to think of defense first. The opportunities on offense will come, but you have to be really strict in the D zone. And it helps when you got a pretty good goalie too.
hmm
So she saved us a ton that game. She's great. And so we were just trying to do everything we could to block shots or pick up sticks to help her out there.
Yeah, what's Emma Soderberg meant to your team this year? And talk about how good of a goalie she is, because I think a lot of people didn't really know who she was because of Maddie Rooney. And then obviously she stepped in and was probably one of the best goalies in the country this year.
Yeah, she's great. She's from Sweden, and so she played in the Swedish professional league before coming in. So she was definitely prepared to come into college hockey. And yeah, her leadership, her work ethic, and she just wants to win. And so she'll do anything she can to win. And that's what makes her so good.
Yeah, and Sydney Brott was telling me that she trash talks you guys during practice. Do you have any reaction to that? And what's the best chirp she's given you when she stops you?
Oh yeah. Oh, she's constantly talking during practice. Yep. Anytime I hit her in the gut or I miss the net, I hear like, "Hey, hit the net next time." It's really easy for me to save it when it goes over the net. So I get that one quite often during practice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you played Northeastern in the Frozen Four, and how do you offensively prepare for a team like Northeastern? Because they also have one of the best goalies in the country, and Erin Frankel. She just won the Patty Kazmaier Award. So I guess like what was your offensive plan throughout that game?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we got to the net hard and take shots from everywhere. I think that's how you score on these good goalies. It's just they're not going to be super pretty goals all the time, but just getting pucks on net and then grinding them into the back of the net. So I think that's what we tried to focus on a lot.
Yeah, and I have to ask you about the goal you scored to make it 2-0 in the second period. Take me through that play. What was going through your mind? Because it seems like one of your teammates capitalized on this offensive mistake that Northeastern made, and then you just capitalized on that rebound.
Yeah, so I was coming off from a change, and Anna Klein was behind the net, and she threw it out front, and I just knew I had to get it off quickly and on net somehow, and then it went in. So I was happy about that.
I can tell from your reaction. I guess, like, what
Yeah,
were you thinking in that moment?
I was so excited. It kind of helped because we got a 2-goal lead, so that was took a little bit of the pressure off. But yeah, it was super exciting, especially just scoring the Frozen Four. It was
hmm
awesome. Yeah.
That's a cool moment. And what was your team's, I guess, mindset heading into overtime in that game? Because unfortunately, Northeastern scored 2 goals in the third period to make it a tie game. And then I guess, like, what were your guys' mindset heading into that overtime, especially going against and basically any goal that is scored could end your season.
Yeah, we definitely had to refuel in the locker room. We were pretty tired, and then we were just wanted to go out there, and we talked a lot about just wanting to empty the tanks because we didn't know if it was going to be our last game or not. So everyone just give 100% out here for the overtime, and sadly it didn't go our way. But I think everyone gave everything they had there, and we wanted it bad. So that's what sucks the most.
Yeah, and something I was very interested in watching in that game was the physicality, and your team was very physical to them throughout most of the game. I guess was that something your team practiced on before playing Northeastern?
I think we talk a lot about being physical, especially in the WCHA. Every game is a really physical game. So I think that really helped us against Northeastern because we were so strong.
hmm And do you think hitting should be allowed in women's hockey? Because I feel like I don't know, watching that game, I feel like it would have been added a cool aspect to that game.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. I think it'd be fun to be able to hit.
hmm
Maybe not the getting hit part, but yeah, it'd be fun to throw some hits.
What's the biggest hit you've ever thrown,
Oh gosh. I
if
don't
you're
really
allowed to
throw
say?
hits. I
Oh,
usually
really?
just yeah, not really a hitter, no.
Have you ever taken a hit before, taken a body and then create a goal opportunity? Because that was my game when I played in juniors.
Yeah, I take a lot of hits, I'd say. I mean, our whole league is super aggressive, so you have to be able to take a hit if you want to get the puck out of the corners. I think we work on that a lot in practice. So, yeah, we're definitely prepared for it.
Now, what was going through your head when that overtime goal was scored? Because watching it on TV, it was literally in slow motion. It felt like because it kind of went over Emma's shoulder and then trickled into the net, and it literally felt like it was a 10-second play. It was probably a lot. It probably was a lot longer for you when you were on the ice.
Yeah, yeah, it was tough for sure. We were all in shock. Didn't believe it actually happened, but yeah, it was really hard. Tough play altogether, but I don't know what to do there.
hmm Now, when you look back on this season, what do you overall take away from it?
I would say just how close our team was, and I think it showed by making it to the Frozen Four how much we came together and how much we really wanted it. And I think I'll take that away because that's so important to have great culture with your team.
Now, when you look, I guess, like, what's your plans for the off season? What do you hope to work on for your game?
Definitely strength. Being smaller, you for sure need to focus on your strength. So I'll work on that a ton. And then I skate in the summer once or twice a week. So I do that back in the cities, which is a lot of fun.
Definitely, and I guess like when is do you try to take a little bit of a break? I guess during the off season, like take a week off just to rest the body because I know that's something that's important as well.
Yeah, once in a while, our trainer will give us kind of like a regeneration week, and we'll just go on walks or short runs, do some stretching and that kind of stuff because it is really important. Yeah.
Now, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to your game this year? Looking back on it,
Um, Probably just stepping up and being a leader on the ice and off the ice. And I would say just making sure I show up every single day. Now that I'm a junior, I had to make sure every day I came to practice ready to go because I have underclassmen looking up to us. So we need to be a role model for them.
now what is something you improved on the most since last year?
I would say speed and probably my puck control. I've focused a lot on those.
Now, thinking about next year, I know it's a few months away, but what are your goals and expectations for yourself and for your team?
Yeah, next year I definitely want to come in stronger, harder shot, always. And for our team, I really want to make it back to that Frozen Four so we can have it end differently this time.
Definitely, that'll be fun. It's going to be in Penn State, so I don't know if you knew that, but you're excited to
Yeah,
potentially go there because that rank's
yeah,
pretty nice.
yeah. It should be exciting there. It's a great rink.
Now, how's school been for yourself, and what's it been like to balance the academic side of being a student athlete and the hockey side? Because it seems like it's a lot to adjust to and to balance.
Yeah, school was a lot different this year just because it was on Zoom. But that actually sometimes made it easier because when we were on the road, we were able to do class on the bus. Usually we aren't able to do that. So it was really nice to be able to do Zoom calls and online school this year. I think it kind of helped with balancing hockey and school.
Definitely. And I guess like what's your thoughts on the Zoom breakout rooms? I've heard that's the worst part of Zoom. I agree with it. I have to get your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward. Very awkward, yeah.
Are you the one to talk first and try to break the ice, or are you one just waiting for someone else to talk?
No, I'll definitely talk first, yeah.
Now, I guess like what's been the best class you've ever taken so far, at least this year?
Oh, uh, probably one of like just my business general classes.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like group work and presentations and that kind of stuff. I like that a lot better than some of the finance.
Definitely. Now, we're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast where I ask you some non-hockey questions. Now, this non-hockey segment's a little bit different because it's more tailored towards your interest. And I did some research on yourself, so I'm interested to hear from your thoughts on this. And I've also looked up random questions on the internet, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it as well. Now, what is the most interesting thing you have seen or read this week?
Seen or read?
Yes.
Oh, most interesting thing I've seen. Honestly, anything I see on TikTok is interesting to me.
Hmm.
I learned crazy recipes and tips and tricks on things, and so I think that's probably the most interesting thing.
For mine, it's probably a hockey related thing. I know this is the non-hockey segment, but it was cool because I read an article about the UMass hockey team and how they built their program to where it is today. And since they won the national championship, it was pretty cool to see because they were a 5-win team like 4 years ago, and now they're one of the best teams in the country. So it was cool to see how the program changed.
Yeah, that is cool.
Now, speaking of TikTok, apparently you are very popular on that app. What are your thoughts on being a viral TikTok star?
Oh gosh. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun to videotape the girls, and I first started it off just to do it so that we had fun videos to watch of like our pregame stuff and our games, and then they ended up going viral. I had no idea they were gonna do that, but it's cool to see all the support we have. A lot of nice comments supporting UMD hockey, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's been the best video you made, and what was your reaction when like the numbers started blowing up? I'm curious about that.
It was probably the first hockey one I made. I had tons of videos just from throughout the weekends that we had, and I went to sleep, and as a joke, my teammates were like, "Oh, we'll probably see you on our For You page tomorrow." And then we woke up the next morning, got to the rink, and it had blown up, and we had no idea. So it was really funny.
Now, if there's like a documentary on your team, I don't know if you remember the 24/7 documentaries that they used to do before the Winter Classic, where they would like showcase a team like behind the scenes. Who do you think would be the best character from your team? That would be pretty interesting to watch.
Probably Maggie Flaherty. She's
Everyone says she's the funniest on the team. What type of jokes
Yeah,
she's
she
saying?
got voted the funniest this year. Yeah, she's always doing something funny, something crazy, so it's funny to watch.
That's awesome. And I think my favorite video, because I had to check it out, was the preparation for the Frozen Four, that TikTok you made. I thought that was really cool to see. Like the flight to Erie, I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we had a great time traveling there. It was a lot of fun. So we thought we'd videotape it so we remember it.
Yeah, no. Was it weird traveling this year compared to other years? Just because did you have to like social distance when you're on the plane, even though you've been around your teammates throughout most of the year?
Well, the only flight that we had this year that we were allowed to do was to Erie, and we were the only ones on the plane. So we each had our own row and wore masks the whole time. So that was a little bit different, yeah. But other than that, the bus rides, it was kind of annoying having a mask on for the whole bus ride, but we got through it, so it's good.
Definitely. Now, what is something you wish more people knew about yourself besides being a good hockey player?
Oh, um, I would say that I love doing hair and makeup and nails. I'm
Mhm.
like me and my roommates are the girls that are always like doing nails and hair and makeup, and we love to do that kind of stuff. So some people are surprised when they think of a sweaty hockey player, but
I can't
yeah,
really relate to that. I
yeah.
wish I could ask more questions, but I guess like, do you think you have the best style on the team? I would say myself, I think you have the best style on the team, but
Um, no, I think I got Nina and Mackenzie Hewitt have some pretty good style.
nice. Who
Yeah.
do you try to model your style after when you like do that stuff? Because I know some people take it really seriously. I guess like being a guy hockey player, no one really takes it seriously. You just have to wear like a suit, and that's basically it.
Oh, like for preparing to go to the rink.
Yeah.
Um, I would say just like the YouTubers I watch a lot of like outfit vlogs, and then I would also say my roommate Taylor Stewart. We plan our outfits together to make sure they're good to go.
Yeah, definitely look good, feel good, play good. Is
Yeah,
that the model you try
exactly.
to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Um, Hawaii or Bora Bora.
Nice.
I just love warm weather and the beach, so it'd probably be one of those places.
Nice. I don't think you get that much warm weather in Duluth, right?
Nope, not at all.
Have you ever been to Hawaii before?
I have not, no.
Oh, nice. I've always wanted to go there. It's a bit expensive, so I can't really afford it at the moment, but it's something I'll definitely want to go visit one day.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
There's this show on HGTV called Hawaii Life. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's one of the most guilty pleasure shows I watch just because it's just like people buying like rich houses in Hawaii, and it's super cool to see. And like some of the islands are super nice, and it's crazy like how expensive some of those houses are.
Yeah, I'll have to check out that show. That sounds cool.
Now, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
Oh, um, I don't really know. Maybe just give the UMD Bulldogs a shout out.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Now, last non-hockey question, even though it's kind of a hockey question, is who is the best trash talker on the team?
Definitely Mackenzie Revering. She's got the best chirps in the game, and yeah, it's funny to listen to.
Is it does she chirp you guys or the other team like during games?
Both.
Oh,
When
nice.
Yeah, before practice every day, she'll be the first one on the ice and she'll go over to the box and get on the microphone and throw some chirps over the microphones at Amsoil. So that's really funny.
What's the best chirp you've ever heard from her?
Oh, um, she likes to chirp about people getting cuffed in a relationship. She likes to give
Oh.
girls on the team crap about that. Give us crap about really anything. She likes to chirp me for being small, even though she's smaller than me. But
Any good chirps from other players like from the team? Like I guess like when she's playing some other players like from Bemidji or from St. Cloud State, what's the best chirp you've heard from her on that end?
Um, probably when she chirped a girl on the Gophers the entire game for not wearing sock tape. And just anytime the girl got to the point, she was just chirping her for having no sock tape on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, back to some hockey questions. Now, my first question to you is who do you think is the most underrated female hockey player?
Ooh, underrated female hockey.
It could be from your team, from any other team. I'm just curious to hear your opinion on this.
I would have said Emma Soderberg at first because I saw her in practice, so I knew how great she was. And then I think she showed this year that she shouldn't be underrated and that she is really, really good. So I'd probably say that.
Nice, nice. Now, last time I had you on the podcast, have you had the chance to listen to that interview, and what are your thoughts on it overall?
Yeah, it was exciting. My parents and I listened to it. So yeah, it was cool. Kind of weird to listen to yourself talk, but yeah, it was good.
That's good. That's good. Hopefully, I was a decent interviewer.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah, you were.
I seemed a bit nervous listening back to it, so I apologize about that.
Oh no, you're good. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, and any guests that we should have on in the future from your team or from some maybe your high school teammates that are in D1 right now?
Um, yeah, I have a friend from Egan who plays for Gus Davis now, named Kayla Vrees. I'm sure she would love to do it. Yeah, or any of my teammates, I'm sure. Emma Soderberg would probably do it, or Kylie Hanley. She's next door to me right now, my roommate. Yeah, any of them would love to, I'm sure.
Awesome. Well, is there anything I think I should improve on the most when it comes to doing this podcast?
Um, no, I think it's great. You have a lot of good questions.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the kind words. Well, normally I ask every interview, I guess I do, for shout outs at the end of the podcast. But since you already did shout outs last time, is there anything you'd like to talk about for the next like 30 seconds? The floor is all yours, or any other shout outs you might have missed from last interview.
Shout out to my parents and my sister, and shout out to all my roommates and teammates for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again, Taylor, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I admire you as a player, but I also admire you as a person because you're a great person as well. So I just want to let you know that you're one of my favorite players to watch. So take care and stay safe.
Thank you so much for having me again. It's been great.
Awesome.